Welcome back to Shadows of Brimstone. This is the final episode where we have Marshall, the U.S. Marshal, and Ashlee, the rancher. They're going to be traveling to town and leveling up. So we will get a look and see how that happens. So at the end of the adventure, the darkness has escaped. We are going to have 3 destroyed locations in town. There are 6 locations because we failed this mission. Darn it. And one thing I forgot last time is I forgot to give them their 80 XP for the loot cards at the end of that battle. And so their total experience points up to date now is 1,160. So at 500 experience points each, they're going to be able to go from level 1, which they currently are, up to level 2. And their total cash that they have is 825 bucks. All right, so what do we do at the end of an adventure, succeed or fail? Well, the first thing we need to do is we need to roll for corruption hits for every darkstone they're carrying or darkstone item they're carrying, unless it's in a secret compartment called a tomb stash or something, I think, which does not give you corruption. But of course, we don't have any of that because we're first level characters. Ashlee is currently carrying 3 darkstone, so she needs to make a save against a corruption hit for having carried those stones, and she's going to use her willpower is what you use, so she needs 4+, and she saves 2, and she's going to take 1 more corruption, and so that's going to give her now a total of 2 because she had 1 left over. Remember, she got to save 3 because of the rusty badge that Marshall used. Now Marshall's carrying 2 darkstone. He has no items that have darkstone attached to them, so he has to make 2 saves, willpower versus corruption, and he has a 4+ for sanity, so he makes 1 save. He is going to get 1 corruption. Okay, so he has 1. Ashlee has 2. And now what we do, the next step is to refresh, because they're outside the mine now. Well, not in this picture, but they make it outside of the mine, and they get to refresh, which means they get to have full health, full sanity back, both of them, and they each get a grit. And this is going to be for traveling to town, so a grit for each of them. That's going to give them 1 grit each because they didn't have any at the end of the adventure. And now I'm going to set up the town location a little bit, but we have to travel to town. So we have to roll 1 die each, and on a 1 or a 2, they're going to have a travel hazard. So these are usually not good. We don't want them. So let's see if we can not get a 1 or 2. White die for Ashlee, red die for Marshall. Way to go, Marshall. Stumbling around, we're going to have a travel hazard. All right, so what we do for travel hazard is in the adventure book on page 56. There are all the travel hazards. We roll 3d6 and we consult to see which travel hazard we have. So why don't I just do that and then I'll get the book out. So 3d6. Ooh, I don't know if this is good or bad. 4, 5, 6, 7. So we roll a 7. We're going to consult the book and see which travel hazard we need to deal with. Not good. Okay, so in each adventure book, this is the Swamps of Jargono adventure book. On page 56, there is a travel hazard chart, and you roll 3d6 and you consult it. So we ended up with number 7, which is harried by hellbats. Oh, that's great. As the heroes move through the countryside, dark swarms of hellbats follow overhead, swooping down to terrorize them as they go. Each hero must roll a d6 for every darkstone they're carrying, including items with darkstone icon and items with darkstone upgrades on them. On a roll of 1, the darkstone shard item is snatched away by the hellbat and carried off into the night. So you discard it. Okay, that's not too terrible, but we don't want to really lose the darkstone because we can use it to buy darkstone bullets, which give you +1 damage on all of your ranged attacks with guns. So, like I said, Marshall has 2 darkstone. Ashlee has 3. We don't want to roll any 1s, so I'm just going to roll them all together. We don't roll any 1s. The hellbats harried us, but they did not carry off any of our darkstone. So awesome! Up next, let's get out the Frontier Town map, and we're going to have a map, or a Frontier Town encounter. We're going to go to different locations. Of course, 3 of them are going to be destroyed, and then we're going to level up quickly. I'll show you how that works. Okay, so this is the player mat that shows us the Frontier Town that we go to. And the first thing we do when we get into town is we need to, if we want to stay at the hotel, we have to pay 10 bucks each. So we're safe from, bandits and hell bad attacks and stuff because we're staying in town. Or we can pay nothing, which is free to say, and just camp outside of town. But of course, when you do that, you have to deal with camp encounters, which can be bad things. So because we have 825 bucks, we're going to go right ahead, spend 20 of that, and we're going to stay at the hotel, both of us, so 10 bucks each a night. So we'll go ahead and spend that. And I guess, what are we going to do first? Well, we have to decide, or we have to figure out which 3 locations in town are destroyed because we failed that mission. And you'll notice that on the docks office, there's a 1, on the blacksmith is a 2, Saloon is a 3, the Frontier Outpost 4, General Store is a 6, and Church is 5. So let's see which 3 were destroyed. Well, what do we have here? We have a 2, so the blacksmith is destroyed. Darn it! That means we can't get darkstone bullets. That sucks. 5, the church is destroyed. And 6 is the general store. So all we have available to us in the town is the docks office, where we can heal injuries, mutations, buy bandages, tonic tokens. We can go to the Frontier Outpost, or we can sell Darkstone, so we can make some cash there. We can train the soldiers, get bounties, and we can go to the saloon, try to make some money. We can buy whiskey, and we can entertain ourselves. But before we do any of that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to level up our characters. So starting with Marshall, I'll show you how we level up the characters, and I'll put different tokens on here instead of the dice so we know which locations are destroyed. So let's level up Marshall. He's going from level 1 to level 2, and of course how we level up in the game is we have to spend our experience. And then when we try to go from level 2 to level 3, we need to get another 1,000 experience each. So this is our total experience. So we're going to spend 500 each because we have a total experience of 1,160. So that's going to level up both characters for 1,000 experience, 500 each, and that leaves us 160 experience points to continue on if we go and do some more missions. So let me get set up here, and we're going to level up Marshall. Okay, so I'm not quite sure just how clear or good this is going to be, but this is the U.S. Marshal. He is from the City of Ancients game, and I have his card here, which of course he has luck because he has the lucky charm, gives him an extra luck, and he has an extra 2 sanity, which comes from his hardened resolve skill. So this is his card, and we're going to go into the book here, and we're going to level him up. And so how do we level up? We pay the 500 experience, which we've done, and then we roll 2d6, and he gets an upgrade bonus. So let's go ahead and roll 2d6. Wow, 12. I hope that's good. And 12 down here, to tell you what his upgrade is, says Dark Stone Resistance. You can now hold 2 more corruption points before getting mutated. So normally all you can hold is 4. If you get a 5th corruption point on you, you end up getting a mutation. But now, because he has Dark Stone Resistance, he'll be able to hold 6 corruption points and will not get a mutation until he gets a 7th. So that allows him to carry more Darkstone and to use more Darkstone items without fear of becoming mutated. So that's his upgrade, and now we need to choose one of the upgrades from the upgrade chart. And you have to sort of start on the first line, and then you're going to move down. Sort of the prerequisite to this one is that one. So we have, it can either be Traveler, Resolve, Honor, Bounty Hunting. And I think we're going to take for him Focus. It says you no longer need to target adjacent enemies first with ranged attack. And he gets +1 grit, max grit. So his max grit's going to go from 2 up to 3, and he doesn't have to target adjacent enemies. So he can use a shotgun somewhere else. So you can see here his max grit said it was 2. It's now going to be 3. And so that, in a nutshell, very quickly, is how we level up character. So he's going to have, he's going to start using the bounty hunting chain here, and he's going to have +1 max grit and focus. So that's the U.S. Marshal upgraded. Next, let's look at Ashlee, our rancher. Okay, so here we have Ashlee, the rancher, and she's going to do the same thing for leveling up. She's going to roll 2d6 and consult the upgrade bonus chart. She rolls 6. Okay. And let's have a look here. Okay, so we can look at her sheet. Right now, this is her level 1, and her only bonus right now is her sanity is up 4 because of her hand mirror. But she rolls a 6, and so if we consult the chart here, a 6 says +1 cunning or +1 spirit. Also gain plus D6 health sanity any mix. Wow, that's cool. So let's see how much health sanity she can get. Come on, high roll. 3. Well, she can have a mixture of 3 for her health and her sanity. She's got 14, 14, so we'll have to do a little bit of thinking about that. And we also have to decide if she wants to take +1 cunning or +1 spirit. Right now her cunning is 2, her spirit is 3. So I think, what should we do? Let's upgrade her spirit to 4, and we're going to give her 2 more health and 1 more sanity. So let me just do that, and we'll be right back. All right, so I've updated Ashlee's playing card. Our spirit now 4, health 16, sanity 15, and I just use little yellow, those little sticky note things, and just so they don't have really sticky adhesive to them, so they just fit on, because the cards are really nice and I don't want to use just sort of blank sheets. So that's her stats upgraded. Now we need to choose one of her upgrades, and I've thought about this, and I think she's going to go down the marksmanship channel. So she's going to take Iron Concentration, and I don't know if that's going to show up very well. Iron Concentration says once per turn you may re-roll a single damage roll from one of your gun hits. So basically, once a turn, she gets to re-roll damage on her gun. So if she doesn't do enough to kill something, she can go ahead and roll again. So that's what she's going to take, Iron Concentration. All right, they're both level 2 now, so let's get to the town and do some things in town. We have the Saloon, the Doc's office, and the Frontier Outpost to deal with. All right, so they've leveled up, and now it's time to go to some town locations. And there's this little tracker thing down here for days since last event. So at the end of every day, we have to roll a d6 and see if we have a town event, and they are usually not good. So we have to decide who is going where. And I'm pretty sure Ashlee is going to visit the Doc's office because she wants to get rid of the corruption hits to her. So you can get rid of corruption here, and then she can buy some bandage tokens while she's there. And we will have, because we can't go to the blacksmith, we will have Marshall go to the Frontier Outpost. Or should he do that for... I think... No, he's going to go visit the Saloon first. He's going to do a little gambling at the Saloon, see if we can make some cash. Oh, the other thing I completely forgot, but I'm going to do it now, is while you're in town, you can sell items you no longer want. As interesting as this mining lantern is, it is worth $600. We're just going to go back to our old standard lantern, which costs us nothing. And this one we're going to sell for $600, so we get $600 for that. The other thing we're going to sell in town is Marshall has this crisp rose. Of course, he can't use it because it's for a performer or showman. It's worth $325. Put them together, $925 we're going to get. So we sell those items off in the town. And you don't have to be at any specific location to do it. You can just sell items when you're in town. You have to sell dark stone specifically at the Frontier Outpost, but just items and gear and things you can sell just pretty much anywhere. I guess you sell it in the street to somebody. So that's going to give us an additional 925 gold. So I'll come back and we're going to start with Marshall in the Saloon. I'll show you the big sheets we go through and how you have encounters at the different locations. Alright, so what comes with the game is you get these great big sheets of the different locations. So we have here the Saloon, the Frontier Town, and the Doc's office, because that's the 3 places we'll probably end up visiting. So first up, we are at the Saloon, and we have to roll 2d6 to see what happens when we're in the Saloon. So Marshall's in the Saloon. We have to roll 2d6 for an encounter. A 7, okay, I don't think that's too terrible, but let's have a look at it. 7 is a good time. It says a round of drinks makes you forget about the dark world outside these walls. Pay $10 and recover a grit for use in town. Okay, that's pretty good. So he's going to have 2 grit now. Will cost us $10. Buying a round of drinks for everyone. I guess after that adventure, we certainly needed a drink. We had a total of $1,750. So now we're down to $1,740. All right, so what can we do at the saloon? Well, there's a whole bunch of things you can do at the saloon. Mostly has to do with gambling, and we're going to do some brimstone craps because Marshall's luck is 4. Basically what you do is you put in $100 and then you make a luck roll, and for every 5 plus you can make $100. So it's a pretty simple thing to do. You can only do that once per visit, so once per day basically visit. So we're going to ante up $100 into the so we're paying $100 to play the craps, and we're going to see if we're going to make some money. So his luck is 4. Roll 4 dice and he needs 5 plus. And he gets, well, he gets a 5 and a 6. So his $100 that he spent becomes $200. So we made $100 out of the deal there doing brimstone craps. So instead of $17.40, now we have $18.40. All right, is he going to do anything else while he is there? I don't think so. I think we're just going to buy, he's going to buy 4 whiskeys because that helps us get sanity back. And that's going to be $200. So we're going to have $18.40, we're going to have $16.40, and we're going to have 4 whiskeys. All right, so Marshall is buying his 4 whiskeys. He has 5. He has nothing in his side bag, so he is allowed 5 tokens. So he's going to put the 4 tokens in his side bag, and he's done for the day. He's not going to do the casual poker or anything else. He's finished, leaving us with a total of $1,640. Up next, we're going to see what Ashlee does at the docks office, and she wants to get rid of the 2 corruption she has, basically. But of course, we need to have a roll 2d6 for an encounter 11. I think that's good. The higher is usually better. And it says a special mission. The dock gives you a free specimen jar and asks you to recover a sample from another world for him. See the purchase items section of the docks office for details on the specimen jar. So basically the specimen jar, you take it to another world, you fill it. Where is specimen jar? Oh, right at the top here. You take it to another world, you give up your move and you try to fill it. If you make a 5 plus cunning test, you fill it, and then you can sell it to a dock for d6 times 100. I don't have the card for it, but I'll just make a note of that. So she gets a free specimen jar. But she wants to treat corruption. That is why she's here. Of course, she's going to buy bandages as well. How do you treat corruption? It says the dock is working on new ways to reduce the corrupting influence of Darkstone, building up the human body. Hopefully, it won't hurt too much. So you spend a number of corruption points, recover any number of corruption points for $100 each. Then you roll the d6. On a 1, 2, 3, you also take d6 wounds, ignoring defense for the start of your next adventure. So she has 2 corruption. That's going to be $200. We're going to have the dock try and remove that. She has to roll 2 dice, so we went from $1,640. We're down to $1,440, and she rolls 1, 3, and I believe, yeah, so 1, 2, or 3. She takes d6 wounds for the start of the next adventure. So it didn't go quite swimmingly. She takes 4 wounds, so she's going to start her next adventure instead of having 16 health, which is what her total is. She's going to have 4 wounds, but she doesn't have any corruption anymore, so that's, I guess, a somewhat positive thing. So she's going to end up with 4 wounds on her, so she's going to start the next adventure with 12 health, but she can heal it, of course, as well. Now, while she's at the docks office, she's going to end up stocking up on some bandages, so she's going to buy $200 worth of bandages, which is 4 of them. So that's another $200. We're down to $1,240, and she has lots of room in her side bag. So that's going to give her 4 bandages. And of course, when they meet up back at the hotel, they're going to split the items, and that's what she's going to do. So they go back. So what's going to happen is she's going to give 2 bandages over to Marshall. Marshall's going to give 2 whiskey over to Ashlee, and so now they both have whiskey and they both have bandages. Now, I don't know if we can buy dynamite. Can we buy dynamite? I hope so. Yes, we can. We can buy it at the Frontier Outpost. Good stuff. All right, next up, we're finished for the day, so we have to roll a d6. If we roll a 1, we get a town encounter. Oh, no! Oh, we're having craptastic luck. All right, we're going to have a town adventure. Let me get the card out for that and see what happens to the town. It's probably going to be bad. All right, so continuing with our bad luck, we have town events. So we're going to have a town event. We're going to roll 2d6. Well, let's roll one of each color. 2d6, and we get a 5. So we consult the lovely chart, and we have a 5. The fever. A terrible plague spreads through the camp, causing void boils and death. Oh my goodness. Each hero must make a spirit 6+ to test to avoid the sickness. If successful, you get 10 XP. If failed, take d6 plus 3 wounds, ignoring defense. Wow, that sucks. All right. So we need to make a spirit test of 6+. Marshall's spirit is 2. And we need a 6. Wow. And he doesn't get it. Darn it. And Ashlee's spirit is, her spirit is 4 because she upped it. So she needs a 6. Come on, and she gets a 6. So unfortunately, Marshall is going to take some damage. And the damage he's going to take from the spreading, or the fever, is d3 plus 3 wounds. Wow. And he takes 2, so he's going to take 5 wounds. Now, the only thing I'm not quite sure about is whether those are permanent wounds or just going to be for the start of the next adventure. So let me look that up and see if I can find an answer to that. Anyways, taking 5 wounds. Let's hope they're not permanent, because that's going to really cripple him big time. He only has 10 health. Okay, so I can't seem to find anywhere where it says it is permanent damage, so I'm just going to rule that it is damage that he is going to have at the start of his next adventure. So he's down to half health. He's got 5 wounds out of 10 for that rotten fever that he got. Ashlee, of course, didn't take any damage from that, but she's also got 4 wounds from her event as well. So next up is the next day. Now this gets reset back to 1 because we did have a town event. It says days since last event, so it resets itself. If we didn't have an event, it would have gone up to 2, and then you need to roll higher than 2 to not have an event. They both have Darkstone. I think they are both just going to spend the next day. Of course, we have to pay $20. Forgot about that, to stay at the hotel. That's going to drop them down to $1,320 if I've done the math correctly, which is possible that I didn't. But they're both going to the Frontier Outpost. And when they're in the Frontier Outpost, of course, they get events. And they each get separate events, which sounds kind of strange because they go there on the same day. But different things can happen to both of them. So first up, let's do Marshall. He gets a 7, and a 7 is Trading Post. A local prospector has returned from the mines with a strange artifact. He's willing to part with it for a price. Draw a world card to determine where the prospector has been, and draw an artifact from the world. The artifact may be purchased for d6 times 150. Woo, cool. All right, let me get out the world cards and the artifact cards, and we'll see if it's something that we want to buy. All right, so that's a pretty cool event. So we basically have Swamps of Jargono, the Targa Plateau, and the mines for artifacts. I guess the mines is considered a world. So I just shuffle them up. And of course, as more worlds are released for the game, I don't have Caverns of Cinder, so I don't have that. Let's see. It's going to be an artifact from the mine. Well, he's a prospector, so he was in the mines, and he found himself a mine artifact. So we're going to get the mine artifact deck out, which is pretty massive. And what does he have to sell for us? He's going to sell us possibly a Void Ring, which is +1 spirit. Once per adventure, prevent the darkness from moving on the depth track. Okay, that's pretty cool. It's a weight, though. Now the question becomes, do we want to buy it from him? He wants to sell it for d6 times 150. So unless we roll a 1, we're going to be paying a pretty hefty price for this. 5. Oh my god. Well, we have the money, but do we really want that? So that's going to be $750 for the Void Ring, giving us +1 spirit, and once per adventure prevent the darkness from moving on the depth track. Ooh, that is $750. No, sorry, Mr. Prospector, that is That is too costly for that $200 item. All right, that was his adventure there at the Frontier Outpost. And all he wants to do basically is he wants to sell Darkstone. He has 2 of them, and he will be able to sell them for D6 times 25 bucks per Darkstone. You do them individually because they're different sizes and what have you. So I'm just going to roll 2 dice, 1 for each Darkstone. So it's going to be 8 times 25 bucks. So he's going to get $200 for his 2 Darkstone. So we'll get rid of the Darkstone and we'll collect a couple $100. So not bad, you know, better than nothing. So that's more money for them. I think they're going to leave town after today anyway. All right, Ashlee now has to have something happen. Maybe she's going to roll a 7 too. Who knows? She rolls a 7. So maybe it's the same prospector. Comes up and says, guess what? I have something else for you for sale. So we'll just shuffle these up again. I don't know what is what. And we have the Targa Plateau. All right, I'm going to have to go get the Targa Plateau deck and see what he's going to have for sale for Ashlee. All right, so from under his poncho, he shows Ashlee a shadow bracelet. 650 bucks. Use a Darkstone to activate the shadow bracelet till the end of a fight. Gives her +1 initiative. You may move through other models and escape from enemies automatically. Wow, that is cool, but it's a Darkstone item, so you're going to take a corruption hit at the end of every adventure for having it. But that is a pretty awesome piece of equipment. Yes, the question is, how much does he want for it? 150 bucks times 1. He only wants 150 bucks for it. Sold. So that's going to give Ashlee the bracelet for 150 bucks. Wow, that is really awesome. We really lucked out there. So 150 bucks, $50 change. She now has the bracelet. I'm just wondering if she's always she's +1 initiative during fights, I believe is what it says. We have to use a Darkstone to activate the shadow bracelet to the end of the fight. +1 initiative. I think the +1 initiative is just always. I don't think that's part of the activating it. I could be incorrect. It's just a big, bold +1 initiative. You may move through other models and escape from enemies. Maybe it's part of the activation. I'll have to check on that, but that is a really cool artifact for Ashlee to have. Costing her only 150 bucks. That was pure awesome. It is 1 weight, but she's got all kinds of strength. No problem there. All right, wow, now does she want to sell Darkstone? Because she can use the Darkstone to activate that shadow bracelet. And I think she's just going to hang on to her Darkstone because she's going to end up using that shadow bracelet, I'm sure, in the next adventure. All right, so they both go back to the hotel. It is the end of the day. They're leaving town, so they're not going to pay for hotel again, but we do need to roll for Frontier Town encounter. Do we get another one? A 2. Wow, we don't. Thankfully, they're awful. Well, that concludes their town visit because they're leaving, so right now they would be going off to their next adventure, whatever that may be. But I'm going to leave off the playthrough here. That was Shadows of Brimstone. We did the first mission from either book called For a Few Darkstone More, and they failed the mission, but they went to town, they got damaged, they had some events, they bought some bandages, they bought some whiskey, and I totally forgot. So I'm going to retro it. They are, as they were at the Frontier Town, they were both going to spend 200 bucks and buy a dynamite. I got so excited by those artifacts that I forgot all about the dynamite. So they're going to spend, they would have spent the $400 each getting 1 dynamite for their side bags. So in their side bags now, of course, they're going to have a dynamite, 2 bandages, and 2 whiskey each. So that's pretty awesome. And if we continue with these characters, I don't know if I will. It depends, I guess, if the comments, if everyone's screaming for me to do another adventure with Ashlee and Marshall, then perhaps I will get them going out there doing it again. So let me just come back. I'm going to have a really quick recap of where they are, what they have, how much gold, how much experience, and whatever. Leave it off there, and that will be it. All right, kind of got everything in here. So to recap, we went through one adventure, we've leveled up. I'm going to get rid of one of Marshall's 2 grits because he had that grit that it was supposed to be used only in town. Well, they're leaving town now, so he's not going to be able to get that grit. At the start of the next adventure, of course, they would get 1 grit, but they both have 1 grit anyway. So, Ashlee has 4 wounds on her to start the next adventure. She has her hunting rifle, hand mirror, her swinging rifle ability, and her cool new shadow bracelet, which is going to give her +1 initiative and lets her move through other models or escape automatically. That is really cool. And of course, her special ability is marksmanship. She gets to re-roll once per turn a damage roll, so that's pretty good. And over to Marshall. He's got 5 wounds to start the next adventure. Oh, and of course, in her saddlebag, she has 3 Darkstone, 2 whiskey, and of course, Darkstone don't weigh anything in saddlebags. So 5 tokens. So she has 3 Darkstone, 2 whiskey, 2 bandages, a dynamite. So does Marshall, 2 bandages, 2 whiskey, a dynamite. He has 1 corruption on him, though, which we didn't get rid of in town, but nah, that's okay. He has a shotgun, Marshall badge, lucky charm, his hardened resolve, of course, is his ability, and he found the rusty badge during the adventure. His max grit now is 3. You can see his stats, I guess, if you squint hard enough at the screen. His special abilities for level 2 is he has Darkstone resistance, so he doesn't get mutation now until he has 7 corruption on him instead of 5. And he has bounty hunting focus, and he gets a +1 maximum grit, which is why he has a maximum grit of 3, and he can target any enemy. They don't have to be adjacent. Whew. All right, well, thanks so much for watching. Oh, and I forgot, they have a total now of 160 experience between them at level 2. If they want to level up to level 3, they need to get to 1,000 experience each, so it would be 2,000 total. And they end up with a total amount of $970 in cash at the end. All right, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking the videos if you do. This was Shadows of Brimstone. And the game, of course, really shines when you level up characters and start getting going, growing your character over time. So anyway, again, I'm not sure I'm going to continue this unless there's a hue and cry for Ashlee and Marshall to keep going. And then I possibly will do at least one more adventure, probably, not sure when though, where they will go to another world and try adventuring either Swamps of Dragono or the Targa Plateau. All right, again, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for liking the videos. Thanks for subscribing. And we'll catch you next time in another playthrough series. I do board and card games completely, right from beginning to end. Of course, I can't do this beginning to end because it's a campaign. It would take forever, but I may do another episode. All right, thanks so much for watching, and join me next time.